Sometimes it is more of you understanding the reason why you are living in the first place. As we Muslims will believe that as we human beings are created into this world, we are meant to serve our creator. Then also we are also meant to serve the humanity. And I think when you are able to understand these two things, you realize that you're not just living for yourself, but you understand the reason why you are living every single day. When your interest is being attached to serving your creator, you realize that you don't just own yourself. And when you also realize that you have a purpose to deliver, people should be looking up to you one way or the other, either through your service, either through your work, either through your product, either through whatever it is you are doing as work or business. People are looking up to you directly or indirectly. You realize that we are not just born into this world to exist, we are actually born to live. And because of that, I figured through my journey that if you actually want to become a woman of your own, there are certain notions and standards you need to start embarking on. These notions and standards will not just stay, but you have to be able to create some rules that will govern your life. Just like we say, when there is no rule, there is no punishment. But when there is punishment, it shows that there are some rules that needs to be applied by. And at this point of our lives, to actually become the best version of ourselves, especially being a woman, we need to start establishing some protocols. We need to start living by some norms and standards because if you don't communicate in a language that people will hear, they will fail to understand your message. And through my journey, I have been able to understand that there are some certain rules a woman should live like if she actually wants to have a purposeful lifestyle. Not because she's not submissive, not because she's not feminine enough, not because she's trying to portray a masculine energy, but because she needs to understand that the decision she's making is going to be an influence in her life. And the kind of life she wants to live will determine the kind of decisions she's going to be making. And if she does not make the decisions that align with the kind of woman she wants to be, she is going to be a shadow of herself. The first rule I have actually learned through my journey when I started is that you should know your worth and be intentional about it. Some of us don't even understand our value. We don't know our worth. We don't even know if we are worthy of some things. I can tell that it takes a lot of courage to stand on your feet. It takes a lot of sacrifice to become your own woman. It takes a lot of pain, a lot of loneliness to actually attain a particular level that you can actually see yourself and be happy about. But at the same time, when you don't know your worth, you won't be able to communicate in a language that people would understand and also be intentional about it. Your words are the things you perceive yourself to be. Somebody call you a barren. Is that the name you want to put in your head? Or you want to believe that you are, even if you don't have children on your own, you can always adopt children and create that routine into them. It doesn't matter if they are coming from your body or not, but for the fact that you have actually poured your lifestyle, your commitment into another child, it shows you're a mother, not just a parent. If somebody called you something that is not relevant, you might actually not be relevant to you because he is not seeing that part of you that is relevant. And you can actually portray that part to some people and they will appreciate. But is it what that person calls you that you want to put in your head? Some of us don't even know our worth. We don't know our value. We don't know what we stand for. But by the time you start understanding your worth and you start living intentionally on those, we realize that your life will start turning around. And the next thing that I feel is one of the role of every woman is to embrace your individuality. You are a single entity. You are a single identity. Why are you trying to inculcate the habits of others? You can only learn from people. That is one thing I always do. I learn from people. I don't always inculcate habits like that. I try to pick something that make it fit into my own lifestyle in my own manner, not exactly the way I've selected it to be. When you look at everybody, we might actually have the kind of appearance, but at the same time, when you look at the whole body fully, there are so many ways we differ from each other, which shows we are an individual. Don't try to live for somebody else. Don't try to live up to somebody else's expectation. And this is one of the rules every woman should not play with. Embrace your individuality. You're short, you're tall, you're black, you are not educated. I've heard that multiple times. You don't have a certificate. You've been through the thick and thin of this world. Um, You've had series of stories in the past that you're not really happy about. But if you don't actually own yourself, there is no way people will see you for who you want to embrace. Embrace your individuality. The third thing, one of the rules every woman should abide by is to set boundary and define your success. Setting boundaries may saying yes to the things that suit you and no to the things that does not suit you. And also define what success looks like for you. Do you feel success in your business? Do you feel success in your marriage? Do you feel success in your relationship? Do you feel success in your career? What exactly does success look like for you? Is it about the kind of money you make by the end of the month, or the kind of acquisition you possess by the end of the year, or the kind of investment you run on a daily basis? What exactly do you call your own success? You have to be able to set boundaries. See yourself as the thing that needs to be pampered and nurtured. And if anybody is bringing something that does not fit into that environment, do not hesitate to let it go. And the way you call success, what you define success, will feel like success to you. And another rule I have actually learned for every woman is to practice financial independence. Like a woman said, Kim Kiyosaki, money might not be the most important thing, but it affects everything that is important. And if finances is out of the way, there will be lesser problem to address. Most of the things we are embarking on, most of our lifestyle, our goals, our ambition, our routine, if money is not the problem, there will be so less difficulties to address. When you maintain a financial level, you realize that there are so many things you can actually do on your own, and you don't really need the influence of anybody anymore. So when you normalize, when you make it a rule that you want to stabilize your finances and build your finances, to realize that you are living in a life full of self-fulfillment. Then you also need to choose healthy relationship. This is one of the rule I don't joke with. The kind of man you marry will determine the kind of future you have. The kind of people you keep in your community around you will determine the kind of life you have. The kind of people you talk with, you mingle with, you share your life with, will determine the kind of life you're going to be building for yourself. And if this relationship is not healthy enough, it's going to be telling on you one way or the other. And some of which you might not actually be able to have control over when the effect starts eating up. When anybody is coming into your life, when any man is coming into your life, when someone is trying to creep into your life and you realize that it is not healthy for you, do not hesitate to let him go. Be resilient and true to your values. Resilience means you're persevering. When challenges arise, you have a way you actually handle situations. It is painful, it is challenging, it is not promising, but there are ways you try to persevere through the journey because you believe there are better days to come. And when you eventually envision this kind of person, you eventually envision this is the kind of woman you want to be. Be true to it in the way you talk, in the way you eat, in the way you communicate, the kind of lifestyle choices you always maintain. Make sure you are true to your values and be resilient when challenges arise. One of the rules I don't joke with is taking responsibility for your happiness. You don't need anybody to make you happy. You are in control of your life, so take full responsibility. When people come to you offering you long lasting happiness, please understand that happiness comes from within. People look for retreat over and beyond, looking for happiness, but they have forgotten the best place to find tranquility is in their own mind. You have to be able to make yourself happy. When you are attaching your happiness to something or someone, when that thing or that someone eventually leaves, it shows you are letting your happiness go and you may eventually not be happy. But you should be happy on your own because you are a single entity. Because you believe that if somebody or something is not there, you still want to be happy and you should be able to feed yourself that happiness. And also, pursue continuous growth. As a woman, one thing you shouldn't let go, or one of the rules I always live by, is continuous growth, either in my work, either in my business, either in my career, in my ambition, in my goals, in my learning. Every simple thing I lay my hands on, I always choose growth. At a point in time, I realized that when you're pursuing a particular goal, you might not actually achieve that end product. But during the course of you pursuing that goal, You have gone through a lot of phases that have actually attributed to your growth. And by the time you look at those things, beyond that picture, that end picture, you're looking and realize that you are not actually growing, but your growth is continuous. And the last rule every woman needs to abide by is prioritize self care and self love. When you leave yourself alone, you're not paying attention to your body. You're not paying attention to how much you need to embrace and love yourself. You are going to be making yourself a weak vessel because you can't give what you don't have. You need to show yourself that compassion you're expecting other people to give you. Give yourself that compassion without somebody else showing it to you. Then you will understand exactly what it means to love yourself deeply. It is not a matter of being selfish, it is a matter of being self compassion. You love yourself to the extent that you'll be able to sense the things that are not good for you, and you take care of yourself in a manner that you believe you're your greatest asset and you don't want to be your greatest liability. There are so many rules I've actually coined that every woman should live by, but I figure that this nine is very, very important for every woman to live by. And rules are not just rigid, they are adaptable and flexible. Sometimes when we are so glued to a pattern, it eventually creates a kind of shift in our lifestyle that we are blindfolded about the good things this thing have to offer. But you can actually bend and maneuver your own just to be able to fit into your lifestyle. But I have decided to share this based on my own perspective. And in my next video, I'm going to be sharing with you some self-discovery questions that has actually facilitated my thinking to become the woman I am today. And these are the questions I keep asking myself until I'm able to get a picture of the kind of woman I want to become. Until I see you in my next video. Bye.